I've bought cards that have gone crazy, and obviously the Zion at the time was the biggest because it started all this. But hold on, this is cool. You all would dig this. This is everybody that's been in the shop, like Cal, Tubby,
Oh, that's
Cat.
Oh,
cool.
that's really
I
cool.
got an old piece of the court that they signed. But hold on.
The
So
wax, I like it.
I pulled this card.
Ooh,
Holy cow.
So this is Buster Posey, Trout, Acuna, Harper, Judge, and Shohei 101
Mm,
out of a pack. And then for my Colombian soccer friends, I also pulled this
oh,
Pele.
out of Allen and Ginter.
Wow.
it's Pele and Ronaldo out of
Pele,
Ginter.
Ronaldo.
Jameel Muhammad and Jeff Cardozo dive into the hobby, which is sports cards, trading cards, as well as all other collectibles, right now on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, live from the Coaches Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill.
All right, hey everybody! It is your favorite time of the week again. It is the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Take a deep breath.
Take a
I don't
deep
really
breath.
need to, but this guy does. Jameel Muhammad, Jeff Cardozo here with you as we tell everybody about what's going on in Jameel's life, which has certainly been a whirlwind. I think, for several months we were talking about this time of year and the National was coming up and everything to expect. And I think we knew there was baby news and things that were happening along the way. And then as it normally happens, everything just kind of collides into to one spot. But first off, congratulations, Jameel, a new father. He and Meredith, parents of a beautiful baby girl. So I'll let you take it away from here. But man, it's you got the smile.
Yeah,
Which,
yeah.
Now that smile is going to be, especially when it's a girl first. Like it's just the love of your life. Like that's what it turns into.
Yeah, little Melody Grace is her name, and there's a fun story I posted on Instagram too, hobby related with, after we had found out about her birth, after we found out we were pregnant back in November, I was at the shop and I ripped a pack just because I was thinking about her. And I don't know why, I just thought about opening some WNBA and I pulled a massive Caitlin Clark card out of one pack.
Wow.
And so graded it, got a 10, and I was like, this has got to be her card. So it's her first card. It's a picture of her with it. It's the gold courtside select. But regardless, I mean, amazing to be a dad, to see that whole process. I mean, to fathers and mothers out there, it's an amazing world. And of course, all you ladies, us guys can't do that. I mean, there's no way us men could do that. So what you ladies put your bodies through,
Yeah,
it's
100%.
pretty amazing. So shout out to Meredith. And
Yeah, I think you always hear like a kidney stone is equivalent, and it's like there's no way,
yeah.
especially to be in that room and see what they have to go through. It's
and every labor is different, right?
Sure.
So like some people could be quick, but some, in our case, was very long and it's painful to watch. So I had to get my coach's hat on a little bit. I didn't get slapped in the delivery room, but I had to, come on, we got to do this, and breathe in and inhale 7, exhale 5, all those things you got to do.
Lamaze classes.
Yeah.
So those 90s cards and all that stuff. Well, so yeah, very much
great.
Congrats and awesome. And as that was going on, you had your team up in for the national, and obviously that was crazy and a million different things going on. Did they at least let you kind of go through the labor and be a part of things, or bother you all the time?
So the labor was literally the start of the national. The Tuesday morning she was born, and that was when they were setting up and already deals happening. So I'm getting texts throughout that day, and it was we have a great team, and shout out to everybody on the team that went up to Chicago. It was a little nerve wracking for me in the beginning, just thinking all this inventory and all this responsibility that's all now not on me. It's on team, but that's why you build good teams and you have good people around you, and hopefully everybody on our team knows that how much we appreciate them through all we do. So it was a great week. It's a very busy week. Joanna went up there from South Carolina with Auburn, so we had part of our South Carolina team, and then we had part of our Florida team, and then I guess called our show team, guys that my dad and Kong and other folks that kind of help out at these big shows. But it was, Jeff, I've heard it was the best national by far from attendance. From I guess just the fervor for single cards, which to me that speaks volumes, right? Like if people want single cards, that's a good healthy market. You're going after certain things, and then of course there's the gambling side with wax. Like there's tons and tons of wax that we sold. I think we took up 150 cases and we sold more than half of that. So to think about that, we had this mountain of wax. It was like this. I called it Tim was like sitting in front of it. He was like the troll guarding the bridge, and they had this mountain of cases behind him. It was amazing. But they did an awesome job with that, and all the feedback from the National has been great. It's everyone has different stories because there's so much you can see and do there. And I think people go there with such different, plans, whether you're a collector or an influencer or maybe you're a celebrity. We get to be a part of all of that and get to see all of it. So things were calm for the most part. I can handle most of it via text and a few calls here and there, but they did a great job.
Yeah, awesome. And I know it was unique too because there were some grading companies that were actually there and get your card graded in 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
And so I think that probably brought a different dynamic too. And somebody says, hey, I can go check this out and then get a return on it pretty quickly.
Yeah, that changes everything. CGC was there, Beckett was there, SGC was there, and of course PSA was there. This year PSA, I think, as compared to last year's previous, was a little bit, I would say the word disorganized, I think is what happened, because there's so many people there.
Sure.
With PSA being the creme de la creme, everyone going for it. And so there were some hiccups, I think, across the board, but a lot of people, got their stuff graded on site, and, you can do a lot with that. So maybe you take some of your gems from back in the day next year, your 90s Fleer.
Sweet. Well, one gem that I have, actually, it was a picture that I had in my office for many, many years. It was Bubba Watson at the Masters hitting around a tree, and that was like the picture, and he made this incredible shot onto the green, and Bubba Watson went to your booth. I even have a pink driver, which is Bubba Watson, a ping driver that I still have, and I haven't even used it to hit, and it's got the Bubba Watson head cover. So big fan of Bubba's, even though he was a Georgia guy. But
let me give him a call and see if we can work up a trade. Maybe he can give you some tips on how to help pull that curve shot off. Yeah, I mean it's amazing to see all these different interactions that are happening at the booth. He was great. He came by, I think, on Sunday. They did a deal with the guys, and he even wished us a happy, or congratulations for the baby. So it's cool when those walls are broken down and all that matters is cards. Like it doesn't matter who's on each side of the table. It's just the hobby, and I think that's what the National embodies the most is people just walking around having a good time, and it doesn't matter where you're from.
And we have Gary V here on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast, several months ago, and I know he stopped by the booth, and the great things that he was talking about then now come to fruition at the card. I know there was a pack war, and I mean he smoked one of your employees.
Yeah,
in the
he got
pack
Joe
war.
pretty bad.
Yeah, he got him good.
He smoked him. So, when they were doing the opening of the new stuff, the new Gary V Friend stickers that actually they partner with Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And you can pull Steph Curry autograph stickers with his V Friend characters. So, these kind of mashups are happening more, and it was cool to see that, the response to that. He's great. I think he's, one thing about him is that people don't realize is like, you think he's just always behind the camera. No, like when the camera's down, he's like wheeling and dealing at booths with his son and stuff. Like, and that's pretty cool to see. You know what I mean? Like he's just going around having fun like we all do. And just another guy. It's great just to see the hobby grow and create new verticals.
Well, and I've gotten more into now the social media side because of you and the TikTok world and all that, and so I saw several videos as I'm scrolling through, and now because that's all I've looked at. Like a majority of TikTok is that kind of stuff. But I did see one where I thought it was cool where they gave some guy $1,000 because he's always wanted a Nolan Ryan rookie, and he was going around and trying to look at different vendors and where they go, and one guy had it at 1,800, another 12, and different things. So I thought that was a cool little idea. And it just for me it showed the ability to be able to go around and talk to different vendors and different people and work out those deals and be confident enough to say, hey, no, I can do this there or there. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
We'll have to get you on some TikTok treasure hunts at the National one year, see how Jeff does with it. But it is amazing that what you see there, right? And the fun thing about that is like if you don't act quick enough, sometimes you might go to another booth, come back, and I'm gonna go back and get that, and then it's gone. So it is kind of a wild array. There was so much going on this year, so many people. Attendance record again broken from the last year, and Chicago is an amazing city for just the hobby and sports fandom. So great job that it's going to be there next year and the year after, and then in 2028 they decided it's going to be actually in Detroit, which it's never been.
Okay.
So 2028 will be in the land of Motor City. So.
Well, if the Cubbies are in town next year, I'm there. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
We'll make it happen.
All
Maybe
right,
they'll play in the Cardinals.
That'd be pretty amazing.
Even though the Cardinals stink, Braves stink.
Yeah, I'm not as bad as the Braves right now. But
Yeah.
Cardinals, they did take 2 or 3 from the Cubbies this past week. So
Yeah.
anytime we can win against the Cubs, I'm about it.
And then, of course, it's fantasy football time and preseason NFL and all these other things that are going on. So, I think as we progress now over these next couple of podcasts leading up to the season, we'll see if these, rookie quarterbacks or rookie running backs or some of these players and, just the impact on the card world and what's going to happen to it.
Yeah, let's try it. Let's try a Titan MRI rapid fire with Jeff on fantasy. You ready?
Okay.
Some things. All right, Jeff. Shadur, is he going to make the roster?
He'll make the roster.
Okay.
Yes.
Cam Ward, is he going to be over under 8 wins this year?
Under.
Under. Okay.
Yeah.
Titans. Okay.
But
I can see it.
I think he'll make an impact. But
Okay.
yeah, team's just not very good.
This is off the dome here. Anthony Richardson, is he going to have a bounce back year? What do you think?
No.
It's tough.
It's sad to say, but
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, you want him to be
Sure.
successful. It's just the injuries and not getting some reps and doing different things. They obviously brought in Daniel Jones, and just you don't know if the owner likes him and what they went through. So
Maybe it could be a Traubenbuch trade. You never
Yeah.
know. Maybe that's what he needs.
could be beneficial.
Could be beneficial. All right, I got to go after the Jags because I always make a lot of fun of them. I know they're celebrating this record that doesn't count. The guy kicks a 70-yard field goal. The coach seems like he won the Super Bowl. He's the goofiest guy in the world. But do you see Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball this year?
I do. I think it's really hard to say it's going to be 70, 80 snaps a game, but I think the way that I would manage it, I think he's a really good cornerback.
Yeah.
And you game plan with it. And if it's a certain offense and you do things there, but then you can say, okay, give me 15 plays on offense and go about it that way. And then obviously, at least even if he's in there offensively and you try to throw to him a lot, that takes pressure away from then Brian Thomas, who's on the other side. And I mean, to me, that's a good fantasy pick, Brian Thomas.
Trevor Lawrence. It'll be interesting to see kind of what pans out with him.
He can figure it out.
I got 2 more for you. I've been asking guys in the shop this. Who has the most hype right now who is going to underperform this year that you believe?
Ooh, that's good.
And this is a true rapid fire here.
Maybe Justin Herbert.
Okay. You think he's got some hype?
I think a lot of people are saying, he's got Harbaugh and they're going to be really good, but Harbaugh likes to run the football, and they're one of their offensive linemen, really big deal, got hurt the other day, so I mean that could be I wouldn't think that he's going to have a great year.
Yeah, I agree. Herbert gets a lot of hype in the hobby too.
Yeah.
Every year is stuff, and it's just always underperforming. All right, so flip it. Who's a little bit under the radar that you think? And maybe let's go back and look at some of these rookies from the last couple of years, quarterbacks maybe. Who do you think might have one of those years that's a little under the radar or hasn't really shown much yet?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it would be Jackson Dart. I think he can make the biggest impact. I mean, that would be the guy that I would say has the chance. I mean, it's Russell Wilson. I mean, it's Jameis, and so we'll see. I mean, Jameis,
Pastor Jameis.
Yeah, he's doing good things.
He's preaching on the sidelines. You see the clip where he hit the crossbar.
Yeah,
that was pretty
everybody
amazing.
Went nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fan favorite, a team favorite, all that kind of stuff. But I think out of all the quarterbacks, I would probably say he would be the one when he gets the opportunity.
Dart? Yeah. I think he's kind of still on the radar. I don't know how under the radar, but J.J. McCarthy to me is somebody who I think there's a lot of things coming out saying, hey, he could be good. Made some really.
He's got great supporting cast.
Think
around
about
him.
that. It was 2 receivers that he's got. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
just that in itself. So
I mean, but he's still a rookie. So technically, so we'll see.
Fragile too.
Obviously, they had enough trust to say, hey, Sam Darnold, you can
see
go.
You, Sam. Go to the West Coast.
Yeah, and not bring back Kirk Cousins or anybody like that. They made it his team. So
you passed that rapid fire
Sweet.
Fantasy. You won't pass fantasy football against Jameel this year.
No,
but,
I can't hang with all that. All right,
We'll
we
see
are
how
going
that
to hang with Jimmy Mahan, though. He is our guest, guy that, even though he's a big Kentucky fan, we'll let him in, but obviously great basketball knowledge, card shops all over the country, including one not in the country. So be a lot of fun to talk to Jimmy, and we'll do that when we come back here on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
This is Jameel, owner of the Meelypop shop, Gainesville's home for collectibles of all sorts, including every single type of sports cards, whether it be Panini, Topps, Leaf, Upper Deck. We have it. Come on in, get yourself a box, a pack, get yourself some supplies, get into our breaks, get your Pokemon, get your Yu-Gi-Oh! All the other different kinds of TCG products that we carry and shop are always fully in stock. You can find our stuff on our website as well, meelypops.com. That's another way you can interact with the store, or you can just come into the shop. We're located off 39th Avenue by I-75 behind Walgreens and Sonny's. Stop on by. We're open every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can check us out on our social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, whatnot, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We'd love to see you. Come on out to the shop, have some fun, be a part of the card community here in Gainesville, and always go Gators.
All right, we welcome you back to the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Jeff and Jameel Hill inside Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We're in the podcast room, and yesterday this place turned 4 years old. It was the
Wow.
4-year anniversary of Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and I'm sure our next guest, as we bring him on, has some flashbacks of Spurrier and all these Kentucky fans of because Kentucky could never beat the Gators back in the day. But this is one of the finest guys in the sports card industry in the world, and I'll let Jameel take it away with Jimmy Mahan.
Yeah, we are so thrilled to have Jimmy on our podcast. Listen, if I were to have the top rankings of people in the card world, I would say I can't rank them 1 through 5 because they're all in there. But Jimmy is easily a top 5 across the board in the entire hobby.
Awesome.
Simply because he loves the hobby, he loves everything about it, what it brings, and he's been a good friend to my wife and I for the longest time, and it's just amazing to see him grow. And I think I see Jimmy on the screen right now. So, my man, how are you?
Man, I couldn't be better. I could not be better. There'd be two of me. I am thankful to be here. I adore y'all. I adore your wife, your new daughter. And the hobby, obviously. But whatever I can do, I'm here for you guys.
Well, even before we get started, I'm just looking, and everything behind you exudes you. You know, you got memorabilia, you got a museum there. You're in the second part of your card shop. That's an expansion, right, Jimmy? This is only 2 years old now.
Yes, it's
Wow.
kind of crazy in here. I actually the
Holy cow.
iPad is leaned up on the Naismith Trophy for this interview. Which
We can say we've
one of
never
those
had that before.
sentences- Yeah, it's a sentence I never thought I'd say. Oh yeah, I'll just leave my iPad on the Naismith Trophy. Like, what? Like, so much of this is dream level stuff. So
Yeah, it's amazing, man, and you've been blessed, and you've been almost like a curtailer of this stuff because you're not just someone who collects it; you tell the stories behind it.
Yes.
We're gonna get into all that with you. Before we get started, though, I wanna ask you about the National because this is kind of fresh on my mind. It's our first episode since the National, and you have an amazing team. You have people from all over the world that come that represent Roadshow Cards. But I wanted to kind of ask you pick your brain on a couple things. So first question, Jimmy.
Sure.
What surprised you the most this year about the National?
I would say Wednesday night when we were set up at the booth and the sheer amount of people there on a Wednesday, it felt like a Saturday night from years past. And then you have the fact that the National had to do extra booths upstairs. I know from Mojo and my guys, but just the sheer, the amount of people, the amount of collectors, the amount of women, the amount of kids, the amount, like,
It's great.
it's truly stratified from old men to every type of person ever. And it started Wednesday, felt like a Saturday. And that was wild. It wasn't just a COVID thing. This is clearly surging again.
So kind of teetered into that. What is your pulse on the hobby then? So throughout the week, are you noticing just like what are you noticing? Because you're very perceptive on picking up on trends. What are you seeing?
I told this actually before we even went to the national to my guys, and it's like, tell me if I'm crazy that there is a surge happening again. And you had the boom and all that, and that could never have maintained itself.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that this is going up again, and it's going up all over the world, which we know that multi shop owners too. You're one of them. That it's gone from a juvenile business to it's not where a lot of other ones are, but it's gone from juvenile to I'd say teenage on its way to adult pretty quickly.
That's interesting because you think a little bit about like card shops before, and when we grew up collecting cards as well in the 80s and 90s, people would maybe
Yes.
retire to have their last business as a card shop owner, or they would get into card shops kind of with family, and it was more of a hobby slash thing. But like now, I don't feel like you can
You
do that,
can't
right? You can't just start a
you
shop
can't
as
do that. There's no way you could do that now. There's so much detail and
yeah,
business management and things that go in, even to one really good card shop, much less multiple like you and I have.
yeah.
It is a you gotta be on the key pulse of what is going on. And I think that I like I said, it's gone to from juvenile business where you could retire and do this, maybe it's like start an antique store to this. You can't get cards in from the distributors or
Right.
the companies that make the cards. You can't. It is not the same.
So thinking through that a little bit too, like one thing that is also not the same is trade nights. And Jimmy, I don't know if you know this, Jeff, but Jimmy was one of the like founding members. Him and a guy named Ryan, who we'll have on the podcast, I'm sure in the future, Card Collector too. They started these trade nights at the National years ago. And the first trade night, I'm sure you can tell us how many people were at it, but it's morphed into this. It's almost like a stadium event now.
Wow.
I mean, it's absolutely crazy. You have to get tickets and wristbands to get into it. And so let me tell me about trade night. How did it go? Any fun stories?
Yeah. So I didn't get to go to the national until I was 38 years old, and I went and I was like, "Well, I'll never miss this again." I love it. So I didn't have a shop or anything. I was like, "This is the greatest thing ever." So then I go back and there was after the national closed, there was people sitting on the floor, hotel lobbies trading, but it doesn't look like it does now. It was just a decent amount. So I said, look, I'll rent out a hotel conference room. I'll get some pretzels and some cokes, and we'll all sit around and trade sitting in a seat because I'm too old to be sitting on the floor. And we did the first one, and we had a whole 50 people there. And then the next year, it was 100 people. The next year was 250 people. Next year was 2,000 people. And then one year it got up to almost, or then there was 4,000 and almost 8,000.
Wow.
And it became just a crazy thing. And I had to go through different channels like, no, we're not making money. Like, we got sponsors eventually, but we would have shirts made and we'd use all the money to give the shirts away. Or we would, if we got sponsor money, we would pay. I remember PJ Washington, who's now Maverick, played in Kentucky. I was like, I'm going to pay PJ to come sign for people that can't, like young folks that can't get a signature at the regular
Mm-hmm.
national signing, and just for free. But let's just make this about the hobby and doing the fun stuff. Now we're not in charge of trade night anymore than the national is, but they still do it pretty amazingly. I met some Dwight Gooden, Grant Williams was a trade night this year. It was kind of wild, but it grew from just an idea of hanging out and being with good folks that want to trade and talk sports cards to this.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff. Well, Jimmy, I'm sitting here kicking myself because I've come up to Lexington, gosh, at least 10 times. I broadcast the Gator baseball game, so we're up there. I do football broadcasts. I'm always there, and I'm trying to think of stuff to do on these like 4-day weekends. So it's like I can only go to a distillery enough times. So it's like I got to get to the shop because I look at all this stuff around as like how cool it is.
Please do. Heck, half Kentucky baseball coaching staffs in the next room. But this is all just a museum of cool stuff to look at going all the way back to the 1930s. Pawn Stars actually filmed an episode in here.
Oh, wow.
So we would love to have you come hang out. And if you like sports, even if it's not Kentucky, it's got just really interesting things to have fun and check out. But come on in, it's awesome.
I mean, and obviously that's what makes it special. I mean, like you see the shoes and the, just the pictures, and was that like a dinosaur or something way up top? I don't even know what that is, but
It's
it
a
looks
wildcat,
looks
isn't it?
pretty cool.
I can tell you exactly what it is. That is a stuffed wildcat.
Ah, there you go.
And I am not kidding. A lady came in and said, I'm so sick of having this in my basement. Can I sell this to you? And I said, I'll buy it for the story. So I bought this Wildcat. I put it up, and I'm not kidding. 2 weeks later, a guy walks in and goes, "Is that my Wildcat?" I was like, "Your mom sold it to me. It's not my fault." But I've got a little cardinal in its hand, of course, for Louisville, about to eat the cardinal, and it's our mascot. We call it Cat Riley.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's one of the stories you'll get when you go to Roadshow Cards,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk a little bit about your stores and kind of how you've just expanded. But one thing I like to do is kind of reminisce, Jimmy, and I think about Instagram and I think about the growth of Kentucky basketball cards. This little account that you made that grew into something massive, and this is all paralleling those times when he was talking about like 50, 100, 200 people at the trade nights. Those years where cards were not where they're at right now, and in a way they weren't as cool. And some ways you weren't cool if you collected cards during that time. But I'm thinking a little bit about what that account meant for so many people, because you would post pictures and stories about just like that. You'd post a picture of the cat and tell the story, but it'd be about cards or ripping, or it'd be about visiting somewhere. And in a way, man, you kind of pioneered, I think, like the story behind the hobby, right? And so many people will come to me and they'll see that smile and they see exactly what you resonate. That's why I think you're so successful, man. And everything it's the authenticity. So like, do you ever like go back and look at your account and just think like, man, like I'm tickled to be where I'm at right now. To think I was just sitting on my phone posting things on here or Twitter, and now look at it, I have a empire of Roadshow card stores across the world.
Yes, and it's actually happened a little more recently when I especially when people come in, like if Jeff came in and I start telling stories, it's like I'm just a big redneck that likes cardboard. How did I get here? Like what's going on? And it, like this is the oldest store. It's 4.5 years old. It's not even 5 years old.
Yeah.
And it's like what and my iPad's on the Naismith Award. And like these are all things that, 15-year-old Jimmy, 25-year-old Jimmy, 48-year-old Jimmy's freaking out about. And it was just I didn't care about cool. I cared about this is it's much like Florida Gator football, but I know that Kentucky fans, of which I am, that if I start this account, they'll dig it. And let's tell stories together because that's what we do. No different than you all with Gator football. And it's like we can connect over just the joy, the true joy of the hobby. Which I always tell people, "What do you do?" And I was like, "What's your advice?" And it's collect what you love and love what you collect. And I know they're flippers. Obviously, my shops are flippers. We got to do that to stay in the hobby to a degree. But our personal collections is based on love.
Yeah.
And I knew that little Instagram account would get some other people that are like me that just love the cats and want to collect. And then it went exploded. And especially when I pulled that Zion card, and that really started the shops. I can tell that story if you'd like.
Yeah,
But
go ahead. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Jeff doesn't know this story either.
so I had been working as a camp director at a YMCA camp, big camp. This isn't like meatballs. This is 2,000 kids a summer, hiring from all over the world, counselors, all this stuff. But even through when I was a foster care coordinator, different things, I collected cards, teacher. And it was a great way to come home at the end of the day and just soothe and sort and do something I love with the chaos of our days. Do that. And of course, Prism Draft was a big thing for me as a Kentucky fan. So I got my wife streaming needs opening. I'm just opening for myself. I'm not selling. And you remember the Zion craziness? It was nuts. And I pulled a Zion 101, and it was wow. Now again, this is pre-COVID, but the hobby's starting to do
Yeah.
exponential. So I hit this card, and it was a big deal. I went and got it graded, and then I sold it because he's in a Duke jersey. I'm a Kentucky fan. I can't keep
You
that
can't
thing.
do that. Yeah.
So I sell it, but then I take the proceeds, 100% of them, and I give them to the foster care school where I used to work. It's a group home because I know they need the money. I know they're going to use it right, and
Hmm.
this is great. I didn't tell anybody. It was online, of course, but somebody told CNN about this, and it ended up on CNN. And then the Wall Street Journal came to my house and filmed and did a whole story in the Wall Street Journal. And then Forbes came and it just exploded. And I'm just, again, a redneck that likes cardboard. So I think when you're a collector, you're always like, man, I'd like to run a card shop one day. That'd be really cool. And I thought I had been helped start a bank for a while. My dad's a big financier guy. And it's kind of funny because he had been in the Wall Street Journal for finance. And I was like, look, it ain't that hard. No problem, dude. But I got in for this because sports memorabilia and cards were taking off. And I was like, if you're ever gonna start a shop, do it when you're on CNN and the Wall Street Journal and Forbes and all of this. Like, this is the time. So we started this shop. I always wanted to move back to Kentucky. And then that led to I think the banking side of my brain that I only did for a little while, but it's like, why has there never been franchises? Why has there never
Hmm.
been more than one shop for one owner? And I kept thinking about it. It's like, can this work? Let me check. The numbers work. This, and I mean, things changed, of course, when Tops came in, but it still works. But I was like, I think it's a trust issue. I think it's owner again, very juvenile industry at the time, and the owner that's doing this is retirement doesn't trust people with his stuff, which has now become like jewelry and its cost. And how do I find people that can run a shop for so far away? Well, I had been a teacher, a principal, a banker, a foster care coordinator, and I had great people that I trusted that I knew in the hobby that I could hire, that I trust them implicitly. And so we started and we did a shop in New York, Dallas, Napa, and then because I'd have these guys at camp that I work with kids with, now I can we do this internationally? Can we go to Bogota, Colombia? Because all anybody thought about Bogota was narcos, and I was like, that's not how it is. I went down there recruiting, and it's got a lower crime rate than Indianapolis. So I feel pretty safe in Indianapolis
Shout
at
out to
Andy's
Indie
shop.
Card Exchange.
Yeah, I was about to say I feel pretty safe at Andy's shop, and I had gone down there to visit a bunch, but these two men, great young guys, I trusted, and it was like, let's see if this can work here. And because they're about soccer the way y'all are about Florida football, and I am about Kentucky basketball, that it's the same deal, and it's working so far. That was their youngest shop in only 6 months, but we wanted to see could we do coast to coast, New York, Kentucky, Dallas, California, and then Bogota, and
And
it's working.
you got it. I think in listening to you, I just one the smile is infectious, which is awesome. But it's collect what you love, and I think
Yeah.
for everybody, it means so much because again, I'm going to collect a piece of Gator memorabilia or an athlete that I broadcast, and it means a lot more to me than somebody else. So I guess as I look at all your stuff there, and certainly your love for Kentucky, are there a couple of favorite items that you have that are floating around there that
Oh
are like,
yeah,
holy smokes?
there are. I think that's also like asking which child do you like the most
Yeah.
if you have five. Um, do you want me to go get them and bring them over?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Let's do
Yeah, I'd
it.
love to see it.
All
Let's
right.
go. We can play the music now, right? You can soothing sounds of
I
elevator
got,
elevator tunes.
I got a couple.
Ooh.
So
Ooh,
I
Tayshawn.
was an academic counselor for Tubby Smith when he was here. And that year I was doing that was Tayshawn Prince's senior year. So he gave me this. This is
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Redeem. That is from the Redeem team.
Hmm.
So if you remember, he was on that team with Kobe and LeBron and all that. And you go back and watch that. There's a documentary on it on Netflix. It's amazing. But to Jimmy, my number one fan, I think it's impossible question because there's so much.
Sure.
And then another one would be
Hmm.
so this is Jeff Shepard's jersey from '98, and he was the MOP of that tournament. But obviously, Reed Shepard, the number three pick in the draft, and his wife Stacy, what holds most of the records for basketball, women's basketball in Kentucky. So that is signed by all three of them on one of Jeff's old jerseys,
Wow. That's pretty
and
cool.
and that's big. And then last one, oh sorry, I should have grabbed it. It's impossible, impossible question.
That's why Jeff needs to
I've
come to the
got
shop.
yeah, it's a little crazy. It's, this is so hard. This
I
is
like how
so hard.
we can see in the reflection him going through all the jerseys off the acrylic there. It's nice
Oh,
that
good
he can
because
look at all these jerseys you can pick
I
from.
should have had I should have had this out and ready, but this is from when we played in one of the Bahamas tours, and it's Devin Booker's signed jersey,
Wow.
game worn,
Wow.
and he is beloved. This is John Wall's first jersey at Kentucky, game worn,
Holy cow.
which his first game he hit a game winner. This is awesome.
Wow.
This is from '96, and
Look
this
at
is
that.
Antoine Walker. And game used, he wrote it on there in the Final Four against UMass and Syracuse. And John Calipari was the opposing coach at the time,
Yeah.
but we won that. And then I've got several of these, but Oscar Sheboy it's amazing. He signed this as Indiana Pacers when he was there. Now he's with the Jazz. But it's why these trophies are here. They're not here forever. But Oscar and I got really close. We talk every week, and he was Player of the Year and all this. But we got close to prayer group, and so we talk about life. And
Hmm.
um, it's pretty amazing. He came in and was like, "Hey Jimmy, here are all my Utah Jazz jerseys from this past year. Pick the one you want, and I'll sign it and give it to you. And I'm gonna leave my trophies here. And here's a Kentucky one signed, and put scripture on it. And amazing.
Hmm.
Again, as a just a Kentucky fan that collected cards 5 years ago, to be in this,
So
what
cool.
a
Yeah.
dream! What a
Yeah.
joy!
Yeah, and the stories behind those, Jimmy, are I think what's like even more remarkable. And like I think about what you just mentioned with Reed Shepard, you mentioned with Oscar, you mentioned with Tayshaun Prince for him to give you his USA jersey, but also to write on his number one fan, like that speaks leaps and bounds of who you are as a
Yeah.
character, the
And
man that you are.
the relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're not just gonna give that jersey to somebody. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like, maybe Wembanyama would to a little tiny kid, on courtside, but he's got 8,000 of those jerseys to give away. There's only one of those from Tayshaun. So I just think about these things, and it's so funny you brought up Antoine Walker. I saw him at the National. He was at the National doing
Yes.
interviews, right? So it's so full circle, and how the hobby is transcending, so much of this. And you've done an incredible job, man. Like to have. I think it's probably pretty funny when people say, what do you do in Colombia? And you probably tell them, you train dealers down there, right? So
Right.
it's they're dealing in cards though, and I think it's an amazing thing that that what you've brought is something that we don't really see in the hobby. You're not really seeing the genuineness to that. So how are the other shops doing? Like there you talk about Napa, one in California, one in Texas, one in Colombia. How are they doing over these past 2-3 years as they've developed? And I know you had some hurdles in California just thinking about that one, just to even get that started.
Oh,
But
bro, yes, the permitting, like not the cards part. The cards part with all my shops are fine. It like the permitting and building and all that in California. Man, I wouldn't open a lemonade stand there right now.
Wow.
But my card shop's done, and they are great. The Channels twins, who I adore, and they're fantastic. But it was wild getting that open. It's like we're not building a hand grenade factory; it's a card shop. Like, what's going on? And they're all doing great. The Texas one is killing it. Kentucky's killing it. New York's starting to. We've started to get. I mean, you know how this is. When you start something, unless you have huge investment or investor or something, you're gonna lose money no matter what when you start something for a little
Hmm.
while, and then if you're doing things right, it's gonna eventually get over that hurdle, and that's where we are. Everything except Bogota, which is only 6 months old, so it's still in
Yeah.
that phase. But what I see and the trends are better than most of what my American shops
Wow.
did, and
Wow.
they were just on TV down there recently. But it's wild because down there it's so much education. Like when we were growing up, and even now, of course, you knew somebody that collected, or somebody's dad, or somebody like, oh, I don't do it, but that guy does it. I've heard that before. I heard them talk about it. Down there, they don't have that.
Yeah.
So they collected the stickers. And then and I told my guys down there, you're gonna have to be teachers. And it's luckily I've trained teachers in my life as a high school principal. And it's like you're gonna have to educate, and then it's the hobby will take care of itself once you educate. And that's what has been happening these first 6 months, where people come in and love it. They're like, why have I been doing these stickers? This is so much better. I can get an autograph. Let's go. And they just adore it. And we've had a couple of Colombian players come in. You recognize their names from cards. David Ospina, like it's been Steve Aoki came in to our shop. He's a big collector. And it's really just about education down there. But the shops are doing great. Just ride you know how this is. It doesn't work like selling T-shirts. You're not gonna just market and grow a little every month. Oh, did we have a good release this month? Did we not? Was the draft good this year or was it not? Oh,
Yeah.
basketball's down because Versace and these guys aren't as big names. Oh, wait, Wemby was huge. Okay, next, like you got to be on it.
Yeah, Jimmy, I think the neat part about understanding all this, and I go back to when I started collecting, it was just like, hey, I'm just doing it as a kid trying to get through it. And, I think you more than get to interact with athletes or you meet a major leaguer or something. And they weren't really into cards either. It's just like, oh, that's cool. I'm on a card or whatever. But, now Jameel has a bunch of football guys coming into the shop and Todd Golden's walking in here, national championship coach. And
Yes.
he's ripping packs and he's doing all these things. And you mentioned, the baseball staff's there. Like,
We had no
how
idea.
yeah, how cool has that been to see now where it's athletes and it's, all these professional guys that are on cards but wanting to collect cards and be in the industry as well.
It's fantastic because if they really know what they're doing, they get it. They take more time signing something. They take more time signing something for a kid, making a difference rather than just because you got plenty of athletes. I've had a few that have come in, they're past their playing days, but they're like, oh, I signed so many of these RPAs for Panini, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I explained it to them, and they're like, this is unbelievable. And they start now. And then you got younger guys that they do know it because they're all over social media and they see cards. And like Carl Towns, he's a huge collector. He's been in here.
Mhm.
And he's like, he was showing Jared Vanderbilt, okay, this is how you slow roll this, and this is how you do this, and you see it much more often. And then these coaching staffs come in, and I haven't had a coach that rips, but Calipari was in here when they filmed the Pawn Stars episode. And it was me, Cal, and Chumley, and we're going through stuff together. And Chumley collects,
Yeah.
and again, it's one of those moments when you're like filming Pawn Stars in my baseball card shop with John Calipari and Chumley. How did I get here? Like, what in the world is happening? And then it's fun when Reed Shepard was in here um, with Tops. They had him sign all their cards. before Bowman U came out that year, and they just had them meet here. And there was one card number 15 of 25. And I said, hey, to Tops, I said, can Reed, his dad was number 15, as you saw. He's number 15. He probably might do something cool where he says something to his dad on the jersey number card, which we all know jersey numbers are better for a lot of people. So he wrote like, hey, dad, love you, da da da, Reed Shepherd. And then I got to go out and find, like, the cards didn't come out until 3 months later. So I gotta buy this card from some guy in Nebraska or Canada or something when he
Who
pulls
pulled
out
it?
of a pack, and then get to go give it to Jeff Shepard, Reed's dad, after he signed it in the shop. Like,
That's cool.
what? Like, this is amazing. Where they're starting to understand what it is and what it means. And now Reed's mom collects, and it's just it's spreading. And Jake Laravia, another one. I was at the Panini party when Reed was there after being drafted, and this moment to me is a real like mind blower. But Laravia collects heavy. He's a big collector. But Reed and all these guys were on the stage, Chad Johnson, 50 Cent, and I see them come off the stage, and I'm gonna go. I was like, I heard Jake Laravia collects. I want to go introduce myself, and I see him say something to Reed Shepard, who I knew and who invited us, and then he walks over and goes, no, 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 no. I need to introduce myself to you. I've been watching you since high school, and you're like,
Wow.
Laravia was watching me. Now he's a Laker and the nicest guy, and you're like, Los Angeles Laker was watching me rip stuff in my basement when he was in high school. Like, what is going on?
Funny story.
That's amazing.
Jimmy, Jake was at our booth last year at the National, and me and him were negotiating over a Jordan Exquisite, and he kept saying to me, he's like, man, I really need to buy that at, I think it was like 75,000. And we didn't make the deal, and the other version of that card just sold on Golden a month ago for 122,000. So I've kind of messaged him back and forth and just been like, hey man, should have made that deal a year ago. But it's funny, you see these stories and you see these people, and we have to pinch ourselves because you bring up a player looking for cards.
Right.
One of the Florida quarterbacks, Harrison Bailey, was in our shop this weekend, and he was literally on a computer looking for his superfractors, and I filmed it, and then he's had somebody reach out to him about a Black Shimmer card recently. So it's fun just getting to work with these athletes that, once you, like you said, you get to educate them, teach them what's going on, and it's full circle now because everybody's involved in cards. And thank you, man, for being like the vessel to your shop for the Kentucky basketball guys, like Kentucky football guys, these guys, baseball guys are coming through your shop, and you are that, home base for them to learn.
You are that as well. And I think we've always matched up on how we view this. And it's being a vessel for joy and for good. And you can use anything for good or bad, but we're gonna go out there and we're gonna do the good and let's spread this the right way. Whether and it's not judgment on those that just flip and are making money. Obviously, we do that, but take some time for the true collecting joy, and you'll find a whole world of things that you don't know about, and it's amazing to see these guys really embrace that were players really start to understand that. And then like Laravia is collecting, he was all the people that he played with. Like,
Yeah.
what a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like, amazing. And
He
to
gave it.
pass that down and pass that on is the best.
I remember him telling me a story about he bought a Derrick Rose from us. He's like, I got to give this to Derrick, like just the cool things that, that's going on in the hobby that people don't really know yet. And maybe it's our job to tell those stories, and, being behind the scenes in a way. But I know that's what makes you tick, and you and your lovely wife, Kathy, tick, is that you're doing this for other people. And you've always done that. You've always been focused on others, man. And it's admirable. I mean, I think that a lot of people who are watching this podcast or may hear this years down the line, like, just know the success is really built because of your heart, and people can make that, and you can, create kind of cliche from it or whatever. But the truth is, you're indebted into this, and like, there's so many stories I have about you.
Yes.
One being, we came up last national, we stopped through Lexington on the way up to the national, and I had my team there with us, and one of the guys, he's from China, is a huge Knicks collector. Well, we go into Jimmy's back he has this other place where he got a lot of memorabilia, and Jimmy just walks out and hands him a Kevin Knox game used or warm up jersey. And Zhu, the Chinese guy, just like he had never received a gift like this, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing or what, but he was really like taken back, like that somebody would give him that. And now Zhu's back in China, and he's working actually for Fanatics now, Jimmy, which is pretty cool. But
That's
it's
awesome.
it's just that heart that you have. We've had people that have come from our shop here in Gainesville that have visited your shop, and you've just given them cards, like not even knowing these people. And so like that just speaks volumes on what you've done. And I mean, if you've never been to Jimmy's shops, like you got to go. There's so many cool stories, whether it be on the West Coast, whether it be in Texas, whether it be in Columbia or in Lexington. You're gonna find all that, man. So thank you for just being that to so many people, man. It's fun to watch. It's fun to see you grow.
Well, thank you. I think that's what it's about. You know, it's just stuff based on what we believe. Obviously, this is just stuff, and one day we'll be gone. And so, what remains?
Yeah.
What really transcends? And I tell all my team, they quote it to you, but I'm like, look, we have to be transactional, but I don't want to just be transactional. Be transformational.
Mm.
So if there are times we can go from transactional to transformational, let's do that. And I have kids come in from Pikeville, Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, deep in the cold country, very, very tough living. And it's like, if I could, I've got 4 pairs of game used Kentucky shoes. Let me give one to this kid, and maybe he's the next Jimmy or Jameel. Like, can we launch that? And that's the best thing to do with this is pass it on, and that ripple effect that you do just as well.
Well, it's what we're called to do, man, and I'm thankful to be a part of it with you. And
Amen.
can't wait to see what the future has for Roadshow Cards. Make sure you guys are checking them out on all the different socials. I know you guys have been putting content out on all these different places. But before we finish, Jimmy, I have a little rapid fire segment that I put together for you. So if you're
Lay it
up
on
for
me.
it, Gator to Wildcat here, we're gonna put you through a little gauntlet here of rapid fire. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so here we are with Jimmy Mahan from Roadshow Cards in Lexington, Kentucky on the Titan MRI Rapid Fire segment Hobby Pod at the Meelypod Hobby Podcast. Here we go. First question. I didn't put Tubby in here because I know you would pick Tubby. So you got to pick between these three. Rupp, Cal, or Patino?
Oh, this is so hard. I firmly believe this, and now that he's back in good graces, I can say this without risking my life. But and I love Cal. He's a friend. We text, but the best I would say is Patino, and you see
Mm.
that with the history, whether he's in Greece or New York or those dirty Cardinals up the road. Like he wins,
Does.
and I think Cal's the same, but I would take Patino to win that game,
I
and
like
Cal
it.
beat Patino a lot.
I like it. I like it. All right, here's one a little bit off kilter. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, or Stranger Things?
Oh my gosh. Because Indiana Jones was such our childhood when before that. I would say um that's they're all ice cream. They're all good. This is my favorite flavor is Star Wars. I
Okay,
will take that.
gotcha. Yeah, that's a good answer.
But they're all ice cream.
Speaking of food, what's the best meal spot in Lexington?
Ooh, that's really tough. I like Old Bourbon County Kitchen. And it is, Jeff, next time you're here, old OBC,
Okay.
Old Bourbon County, is really good. And then if you like barbecue, a place called the Blue Door, I love, and it's the jam. But Old Bourbon County Kitchen, their portions are about the size of this shop, really. But it's fantastic.
He took me to some. I don't know if that was where he took me for breakfast, brunch that one day. I remember eating, thinking like, I don't need to eat for like 3 more days. So their portion
That was
size in Lexington.
Josie's, yeah.
That was Josie's. I remember that place. All right, next one. Biggest pull of your life. So it's got to be a pull.
So that, oh man, hold on, we're gonna.
Oh, let's go.
So
I
the
think I might know what
biggest
it is.
pull the I've bought cards that have gone crazy, and obviously the Zion at the time was the biggest because it started all this. But hold on, This is cool. You all would dig this. This is everybody that's been in the shop, like Cal, Tubby,
Oh, that's
Cat.
Oh,
cool.
that's really
I
cool.
got an old piece of the court that they signed. But hold on. So
Wax. I like it.
I pulled this card.
Ooh.
Holy cow.
So this is Buster Posey, Trout, Acuna, Harper, Judge, and Shohei 101 out of a pack. And then for my Colombian soccer friends, I also pulled this
Oh,
Pele.
out of Allen and Ginter.
Wow.
it's Pele and Ronaldo out
Pele
of Ginter.
Ronaldo. So that baseball card, it's a 101 of it represents 11 MVPs. See, here's the shop floor too, by the way. That's
There you go.
the old baseline.
I like how you got
Wow.
the discount shelf in there. The discount shelf is always a good spot.
Oh yeah.
You got to have a
Oh
discount
yeah.
shelf. So, all
Of
right, we're
course.
keeping it going.
But sorry for the delay, but I was
No,
like,
no,
oh,
no,
I
this
should
is
have it
good.
right here, ready.
This is good. It's no, I like right off the racks. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's
that.
awesome.
This is good. We get to see like the real life. It's like you want to go to the grocery store and you want some orange juice. Go get it off the rack. All right, here it is. When you open a pack, do you use your fingers or do you use your teeth?
Teeth every time.
I knew
Every time.
this guy, when he opens a pack, his teeth sink in so quick. You're old school. My uncle does that too. But my uncle isn't as skilled as you. I think he bites the cards on accident sometimes. You got to know how to get the teeth in there, but it's the best way to do it for sure. Tom Brady just got a statue outside Gillette. I'm sure you saw it. I hear, though,
Oh yeah.
that the Jimmy Mahan lifelike bronze hobby statue is coming outside soon for Rupp. They're going to put it outside out of Rupp. So when they unveil it and they have your ceremony, they have a little square space for, a few words. What would you like that to read about you?
Man, first of all, again, I'm just an old redneck that loves cardboard. As dreamy as that would be, I would say number one, believer, because obviously the most important thing in my life is being a Christian man, and though I fail often, believer would be first, and then I would say friend, and then so it'd be believer, friend, collector.
There you go.
And then after that, I think I would put under that what I told you already is collect what you love and love what you collect. Like truly love, because it doesn't matter what the value is. I've got cards of Tyler Eulis or Oscar that's not worth a lot, but I love it. I'll never sell it. It could be $1 million offer. I don't want it. I think believer, friend, collector, because I always want to be a great friend and I always want to be a collector, and then collect what you love what you collect.
That sums it up, man. For you, I think that would be we got to work on that statue.
Yeah.
I don't know what
It's
pose.
doable.
I wonder what pose. Maybe the pose will be you biting a pack.
Yeah, with his teeth.
They'll
That's
have
what
to
I
make
was
that in a
thinking.
bronze statue. It'll be tricky though. But listen, man, everybody down here in Florida, we love you. Tim, my dad, the entire team at Meelypops, Meredith, Melody, we send our love to you, and it's just been amazing to see what you do. Keep doing awesome things, and for those of you who are watching, please go visit Roadshow stores. The main one in Lexington being 4 years old now, but he's got other ones. And again, social media. What is the best? Instagram, Jimmy, is that the best place for people to follow you guys on?
Yeah, if you type in roadshow in Instagram, it's gonna pop up all the roadshows. And then for me personally, which I'm posting a lot from all the roadshows when I travel, Kentucky basketball cards. Clear. It's what I love. It's what I collect. Instagram Kentucky basketball cards, all one word. But go to roadshow first, and then pick your shop near you and hang out and see what we did.
There you go.
Sweet.
There you
Sounds
go.
Perfect. Jimmy, pleasure, man. I can't wait to get up there. I think we're heading up there next year, so we'll make it happen.
Dude, come on by and hang out with us. I can't wait to do some story time with you and pick it.
No doubt.
All right, Jimmy. Well, there he is, the one and only
Jimmy Mahan.
Jimmy Mahan.
Great stuff. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank y'all so much, truly.
So again, Jameel, it's awesome because the cool part about all this is obviously if you're a Gator fan, and you're a Gator basketball fan, your biggest hatred is Kentucky basketball.
Yeah.
But then you bring on guys like Jimmy, and you know that they love it, and just how special those guys are. It's like from a fan standpoint, it's totally different. So now you get to have that. So I think that's what these kind of relationships mean, and they're pretty special.
Yeah.
Well, great stuff from Jimmy. And the cool part is, I think from a Gator standpoint, especially if it's basketball, your biggest hatred is Kentucky.
Yeah, of course.
And, it's even you think about the winning streaks in football. I mean, Florida beat Kentucky like 27, 28 straight years. That Storing's got a touchdown and Mick Hubert's famous call and all this other stuff. So you just don't like Kentucky. But then now you have guys like this who love Kentucky, and they're actually really nice guys. It's like, crap, I can't hate Kentucky that much anymore. So those relationships are really special.
You'll send customers up to the shop and he's giving them cards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can never not like this guy anymore.
Sure.
Jimmy's just a contagious personality, and it's amazing to see what really his dream in cards, how far they've gone, and opening a card shop internationally from domestically. Who does that?
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's genuine. I'm so excited for you when you do get up there. His shop is right in the middle of this neighborhood, so it's almost like you see kids riding their bikes up to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like epicenter of this like giant, beautiful southern neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like it's like the dream. You know what I mean? The kids coming after baseball games and football games and going to get packs, and so really cool things. And we're thankful to have him on.
And I think the neat part is obviously he's got those relationships with the Kentucky players and they're coming in the shop. But I mean, you can see that's what you're establishing down here. And, you get to interact with Jason Williams, and Lagway's coming to the store, and Brady Singer, and all these guys even from back when, AR and guys like that. So to bring those types of guys in who obviously are starting to love the hobby and be a part of it, but then allow these kids in the community to come in and just like see these guys, it's pretty special.
Yeah, I think that's what we wanted as kids too. When we were maybe growing up in the 90s and 2000s, I don't think you had the ability to.
You couldn't interact with them.
You couldn't interact. There's no such thing as social. You know what the internet was, right?
Sure.
So, but now, like, people send a DM, and sometimes these people respond. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty amazing. And then you can set up things and work with them together. So, or they're commenting on your own stuff. You know what I mean? They're finding you.
Yeah.
Like, that's a real special thing. And I'd love to see what he's doing up there. It's amazing just to see that interaction. You walked around the store, you see parts of Rupp and people sign in jersey. That Tayshaun Prince jersey is crazy to think. That's Kobe's team, LeBron's Redeem team. So cool stories up in Lexington.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we got some cool cards coming out as well. So we'll take a break and tell you about the new wax when we return here on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
All right, we welcome you back inside the Meldon Law Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And before we tell you about the new wax and all the cool things that are coming up after the National, which you would think all cool stuff would come before the National, but there's still stuff out there. Want to let you know, CGC, again, one of the nation's leading grading companies. You can submit your collectibles, your sports cards, your trading cards, your comics, your coins, your video games, all that kind of stuff. CGCcards.com is the best way to do it. I'm sure you saw it. If I saw it, you obviously saw it because you're in the industry. But there was the one dude that had like the piece of paper of Babe Ruth, and then he got like Jordan and several other people on it.
He was not your typical fan. I think he had rubbed elbows with Tom Brady at the Sotheby's auction recently, so we got that at signature. But the story is cool because Jordan he couldn't get to, and Jordan found out about it. And Jordan said he would sign it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that was actually the cool component. But it's Babe Ruth was the original. I think what's going to happen now is there's going to be more people going to mimic this. Because you can find Babe Ruth cuts on like big pieces of paper and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you would think, okay, no one's ever going to be able to get this again.
Right.
You can then mold it into something else.
Change it, which is really unique. So he had Jordan, Gretzky, Ruth, Brady, and Leo Messi was the vertical one on the side. So pretty cool piece. And they actually got to show it to Tom Brady. Showed him at the National. Tom Brady. Side note: Tom Brady is just like a card dude now. Yeah. I saw him on breaks the other night. I saw him pop in the card vault where they had his statue. He came in on the breaks and he was rapping Jay-Z on the live. Like, this is a really unique thing happening with the card vault for a GOAT. in a sport to just embrace the hobby. And so, I mean, you could say what you want. Maybe he's just doing it for money. People say, oh, he's just doing it to the card shops. He does love cards, and he's having fun time with it. This is amazing thing for the hobby.
But I think it does help the industry, and I think that's why I wanted to ask Jimmy that question, because, I mean, I've seen it just in the impact with you, and then you hear it from him. It's just now all these guys that get into it. I mean, when you told me, many, many years ago when you were first getting started that, like, Evan Longoria was in a break, I was like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
Like, you think of this baseball guy that, just now is starting to get into cards. So I do think that impact and what they're doing and getting involved is certainly going to only help this thing grow more and more.
Yeah, it's just going to keep going, and maybe that Fanatics goal of 10xing the hobby 3 years ago is really going to happen. And so as they get more players involved, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? So and the players have stake in it. They have that collective bargaining or whatever it is that's written in. Would they have stake in? They have to do things more in the hobby. So good for Fanatics and getting them involved this way.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, give us some of the new wax coming out.
So as we enter into the fall, what always happens is that there is a avalanche of wax, I always call it, because you got football starting. Yeah. And so Panini and Topps are putting out bunches of football. Baseball, is kind of winding down, but there's lots of big products that'll have to come out. Chrome is the one that happened right before the National, and that's kind of I always say it's like the ushering in of the boatloads of stuff coming. The next one big one will be Bowman Chrome. But we have Finest Baseball this week, which is a great product. People love Topps Finest Baseball. It actually releases on a Monday this week. And the thing about Finest Baseball is it's not so pack heavy. It's 6 packs, I think, but it's always really quality cards you get out of it. Now the price point on this stuff is starting to creep up more. It's starting to get higher. This box never used to ever see $250, $300. Like, it was never beyond that. The price right now, where pre-sales are like around $450, $500. Wow. So the price of wax is getting higher, and again, cards are reflecting that, some and some aren't. But that's the one big release, I think, from that side. You also have for hockey SP Authentic, which is a big chase for a lot of people with the future watches and the rookies. There is Topps Finest Basketball coming out, and then the big basketball release this week is National Treasures 24-25 basketball. So it used to be a real sought-after thing with the logo men and the autographs. Unfortunately, you're not always getting all the autographs now because of the Topps and Panini wars going on, but there's still always going to be that logo man vertical that people are going to search for. So that's a big chase in National Treasures. And then a really kind of fun product on the non-sport side, there's Marvel Chrome Sapphire, but also a product called Marvel Mint, which is brand new. It looks like it's kind of a conglomeration of really nice Marvel cards. We're starting to see non-sports really check up. There was a $100,000 plus sale of a Star Wars card at the National, breaking all records for modern Star Wars cards. So thinking through that a little bit and kind of weighing that, I really see the verticals changing a lot, where we're going to see more and more high-dollar cards in the non-sports realm.
Was there a card that anybody from the team brought back that you was your favorite? Like, if somebody that got a deal that they loved the most?
Yeah, there was a lot of cards that were bought to resell, and a lot of them got sold that were really cool. I think that was one of the things that I missed this year, is I would try and bring back a card that I can kind of put away. Yeah. They definitely got cards that were really cool, and there's definitely some that I might consider putting away. It was more one of those years that, transactionally, I think everything was available at our booth, and so pretty much everything that we were buying and we were putting back out. I didn't bring out the big guns because I didn't really want to put that responsibility or weight. And again, when you do that, most people at these shows want to trade into that, so it becomes a much more complicated process. So I'll save those the big atom bombs for later, maybe next year or some other shows coming down the line. But it's amazing what you see at the National, man. Some really cool stuff.
Yeah, really cool. But maybe the coolest thing is certainly what happened to Jameel and Meredith, a new baby girl. So congrats again on being a dad. Thanks. You'll love it, and life is just going to keep going. Yeah. Just keep making it happen. But, yeah, we head into a very busy fall with everybody, and certainly we'll continue to bring you fantastic guests more and more, and athletes, and talk football as we get into to that world, and all the fun stuff in the hobby world as well.
Yeah, can't wait to get into this fall, man. Sports are here. The pinnacle is here of everything culminating at the same time. So look forward to that, and enjoy your collecting out there. Make sure you guys are following us on all our platforms. Share the podcast with people. We love finding new faces who are listening to it. Jimmy, he told us he listens to the podcast.
That's right.
So there you go. One more.
That's what it's all about. All right, for Jameel, I'm Jeff. We'll talk to you next time on the Meelypod Hobby Podcast.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next Thursday at noon.